Now I would like to invite my fellow Leadership Council member and Chair of the Nominations Committee, Dr. Eduardo Padrón, on stage, along with another Leadership Council member, President Laura Chinchilla, and Dr. Julio Frenk, President of the University of Miami, where they have a special announcement and a discussion about the Concordia Americas Initiative. Thank you all very much for being with us today.
Good morning, everyone, and delighted to be here with two of my favorite people in the world, and President Chinchilla and President Frenk of the University of Miami. And I am excited for many, many reasons to be here with you today. And the first one, I want to add congratulations to you, Madam President, for having accepted the co-chairmanship of Concordia's Leadership Council, along with George Logothetis, and we expect great things from you. You bring an incredible breadth of knowledge, experience, and deep understanding of world dynamics like no one else. And I know you have to start some exciting news to share. So I'd like for you to maybe share that with the audience and take it from there.
Thank you very much, Dr. Padrón, and it is a pleasure to see you all once again. I remember that last year we were here, most of the people were connected through internet, but the feeling was not the same. We only have a few people here, so it is wonderful to see all of those faces. And I, of course, would like to start expressing my gratitude for this opportunity to co-chair the Leadership Council of the Concordia Summit. And one of the main motivations that I had to accept this position for the next 2 years was precisely to work along with Dr. Padrón. So it is a pleasure, it is an honor, Eduardo, to work with you. And also, this is a very important portion of our 2 days activity here, 3 days activity, because we have many good news for the Americas. And we are eager to have good news in the Americas because the Americas have received many, many negative news as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic crisis and the most recent global events. So the good news is that we decided to partner with the University of Miami. So today we are going to sign that partnership, and I can think about a better partner for the Americas Summit, Concordia Americas Summit, than the University of Miami. And of course, one of the guarantees that we have that this partnership is going to work is precisely the presence of President Julio Frenk, the president of the University of Miami. That will be the best possible way to strengthen our Concordia America Summit that started in 2016. And I also take the opportunity to invite you to our next summit, which is already scheduled for March 10 and 9. So Julio, thank you so much for accepting this partnership. I'm sure that we will have, for the years to come, very, very good and interesting summits in Miami.
Well, thank you very much, President Chinchilla. It's an honor for me, and thank you to Eduardo Padrón, who, of course, is one of the outstanding leaders of higher education, not just in Miami, but in the United States and around the world. And President Chinchilla, a champion of democracy and progress in Latin America. It's, for us at the University of Miami, it's really an honor. I want to thank Matt Swift and Nick Legothetis for this opportunity. Concordia, as a leading convener and a non-partisan convener, is a perfect partner for the University of Miami, because I do believe that universities, in addition to their traditional roles of educating the most educated part of the workforce, of leading the discoveries that then translate into the technologies that improve our daily lives, and of providing, in the case of many universities like the University of Miami, the top quality health care. In addition to those traditional roles, universities have had and have played historically a very important role in convening, just like Concordia does, in convening voices from different walks of life. The University of Miami certainly doesn't have anything of a culture of an ivory tower. It's quite the opposite. It's an open institution. It's always been there, not just open to the Americas, being at one of the most cosmopolitan cities in the world and sort of the crossroads of the Americas, but also open to diversity of thought, of persuasions, of perspectives. And we do believe that it's through convening in meaningful conversations that we can tackle the world's most pressing challenges of our day. And I see that as an essential role for universities to partner with one of the most highly regarded organizations that is exactly in that business of nonpartisan, fair, diverse convening is for us a great, great honor.
So, Mr. President, why was it important for the university to partner with Concordia? I know that you have brought, since you started as president, a deep interest in Latin America. What do you think this partnership, which I understand is for the next 3 years, will be good for the university, but also will be good for Concordia, and of course will be good for this nation, especially taking place in Miami, which is considered by so many people as the capital of Latin America. With all the issues that we have in Latin America and the opportunity to bring the talent, the expertise, the policymakers, the heads of state, all the people that usually are part of Concordia to deal with the issues of Latin America. You know, Concordia always has been a solutions-oriented organization. So it's not just talk, but it's about finding solutions. And that's why these forums are so important. So how do you see that relationship between Concordia and the university?
It's critical, and it was actually put to the test at the America Summit that we were very honored thanks to your intervention. We already hosted the 2022 summit just last summer. It was very, very successful, and it realized that aspiration of having a forum for the open discussion around some of the most pressing challenges facing humanity. With the partnership we're entering and we're announcing today, as President Padrón said, we will continue to do that for the next 3 years, 2023, 2024, and then 2025, culminating in the centennial of the University of Miami. The university was founded in 1925, and it always called itself a Pan-American university from the founding days. It had a great awareness that being located in Miami, it could play this hemispheric role, hemispheric leadership role. We're proud to have an Institute of the Americas that brings that multidisciplinary focus, and then great strengths in tackling some of the big challenges facing the region of Latin America and the Caribbean, whether it's climate change, which is also a big existential threat for Miami itself, so we bring a lot of expertise in those fields, or democratic erosion in one of the regions that was one of the glaring examples of a transition to democracy. It's now at the front lines of the risk of a democratic regression, or whether it is in innovating social policies to tackle the deep problems of inequality. Again, Latin America has been a hotbed of innovative policies, conditional cash transfers, which were invented, very novel schemes to extend health insurance to previously uninsured populations, like peasants, like people in extreme poverty, like self-employed populations in urban areas. All of those experiences in Latin America, we study, we compare, we do comparative analysis, and then we can have an informed discussion with policymakers so that decision-making and business leaders, so that decision-making can be based on the best available evidence based on sound research. So the partnership for us is extremely valuable because it allows us to mobilize our substantial intellectual capital to bear on some of these problems, and we take advantage of Concordia's ability to convene leaders from every other sector of society that are going to be involved in actually, as you said, acting to solve those challenges.
Well, one of the things that I've been impressed throughout the years is Concordia's ability to attract important players in Latin America, including former heads of state. And I know that we have here today President Lacalle of Uruguay and President Uribe of Colombia, and I know others will be joining. But one of the things that I hope through the leadership of President Chinchilla is that this forum will continue to evolve to make sure that continues to be a forum where all the important issues of Latin America today are dealt with, are discussed, and we're able to attract people from all sectors of society to discuss them. So I'd like to hear from you, President Chinchilla, in terms of what your aspirations are at this point, in terms of what can be done, especially in your role as co-chair of the Concordia Leadership Council.
Well, we have big but also realistic aspirations for the region. I think it is important to remind ourselves that one of the priorities for Concordia in the next years is to strengthen its regional presence. Concordia is already not only in Latin America, but also in Africa, in Europe. We also have a new conference here in the United States. And of course, this is the flagship event, the Concordia Summit in New York. So bringing all of this global knowledge that we have the opportunity to share during those 2 days to the regions, to Latin America, is going to be a great opportunity. So as I was telling you, our region is eager of having good news because Latin America was the hardest hit region during the COVID-19 pandemic in every possible sense, in terms of the number of cases, the deaths, the economic loss, the social impact. So in every single indicator, as compared with other emerging economies, Latin America really had a very complex time. And now we have the new crisis, and the region is in a quite vulnerable situation. So Concordia will give us the opportunity, as Julio already said, to bring more ideas, more information, more knowledge, but something very important for us is also to have the possibility to bring those communities, the corporate community, the NGOs, closer to Latin America, because also we have, and we offer, very good opportunities. Latin America is, for example, from the point of view of investing in clean energies, one of the most interesting markets in the world. It is also the region that can profit more from the opportunities of the nearshoring. So the idea is also to put the lens on Latin America so many other people can have the opportunity to be closer to the region and to have the opportunity to share with different actors from our countries, not only politicians, not only public servants, but of course the private sector and the civil society.
Well, public-private partnerships are part of the big solution that we can bring to Latin America. And let's not forget that Latin America and the United States, this is our hemisphere. So I think it's in our best interest to be able to deal with the issues, especially right now, immigration is one of the issues that, unfortunately, for a long time we have ignored in this country. And I think they need to be addressed. And the solutions to that is not building a wall, but the solution to that is making sure that the people in Latin America are having the opportunities to grow, to develop, and to have opportunity for jobs, etc., so they don't find the need to immigrate. In addition to all the political issues that we know we suffer in the country. So you have had, not only during your presidency, but also after your presidency, a significant involvement in terms of promoting democracy in Latin America. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, that is a big issue. It is not only about Latin America. We already know that democratic backsliding is one of the most important concerns, globally speaking. But certainly after 4 decades of democracy in Latin America, after being a world example of a democratic process, we are experiencing the fastest deterioration in our democracies. And that is another issue of concern. And in certain way, it has to do with, of course, many problems, but one of them, and that has to do with some of the other issues that Concordia can bring to Latin America, can support us in this process, and it is that the internal dialogue and cooperation within the nations, but also among the nations in the hemisphere, is in its lowest point. I mean, we have right now a quite divided region, and so Concordia will give us the opportunity to bring many different parts to the table so they can have the possibility to dialogue, to think in more collective terms, something that the region is needing because of the challenges that we have to face in the following years. So that is another way to see how Concordia will be important with the partnership with the University of Miami for the Latin American countries.
President Frenk, you're a former Minister of Health of Mexico. You had a leading role at Harvard University before coming to the University of Miami. Latin America has always been an important part of your work. What do you consider the major issues that Concordia could address at the Concordia's America Summit?
You know, I think Latin America is important in its own terms, but it's also important because it has traditionally served as a leading example for the rest of the developing world, and even for some innovations that have then been adopted by developed countries. But for decades, Latin America was by far the most advanced of the developing regions. Economically, in terms of its scientific and technological capability, in terms of innovations in social policies, I was saying examples like conditional cash transfers or innovative forms of extending insurance to populations that were previously considered uninsurable from a health point of view. When we saw the wave of democratization around the world, Latin America was one of the shining examples. Just as the Arab Spring was failing, Latin America was witnessing the rebirth of democratic regimes. I served on the administration of President Fox in Mexico in the year 2000, the first fully democratic elections. The future looked very different than what it looks today because of the backsliding. And because Latin America has had that other role, it's tended to be taken for granted by the United States. Relative stability, not completely, but of course there were the military dictatorships. But I would say as of the 90s, with the transition to democracy, more stable market economies, an emphasis on innovation, and the rise of free trade agreements, of which NAFTA was the first one, it was simply taken for granted as a place that was to be relied on, a reliable neighbor. I think that cannot be the case today. And the United States does that at its own peril of instability at its borders. And the rise of populism, I think, is the big challenge. And it's not whether it's left or right wing. it's populism that matters. It's the divisiveness of society. It's the denial of science and expertise. That's why Latin America had the worst performance of any developing region in the world in the pandemic in terms of excess mortality, etc. So we can't just sit back and watch a region that was leading in a progressive way to a region that's regressing to some of its darkest part of its past. And I think Concordia, and we at the university and the entire business and civil society communities, we have a role to play in having the consequential discussions that lead to action to find again the path towards progress.
Absolutely. Well, let's invite all of you to join us for the Concordia's America Summit in March at the University of Miami next year, 23. And I'm sure you will not, you will feel, this past, by the way, this past summit there was fantastic. Everyone that I talked to was very pleased. So the next one will be even better. Great. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in Miami in March. Thank you.
Thank you. First.